This is ChatGPT, the trending thing of the recent 2 or more weeks. People discuss is it groundbreaking or how is it groundbreaking or is it more promising than it's actually capable of. And in my opinion, it is really groundbreaking and in even more areas of life than you can imagine. And let me test it here with a recording for self-education. I have quite strong self-education skills and habits since my high school, probably, maybe earlier. And I studied my profession mostly. I studied lots of things, and in particular, I like to study languages. And we studying languages, my approach, I used YouTube videos, YouTube publications to study how do polyglots acquire new languages, what techniques do they use. I was curious about the research discoveries in psychology, about the discussions in pedagogics, and I have my own view on how to obtain the language quickly. And let me show you. Right now, I'd like to start speaking Georgian on a very basic level. And I already remember many words. I quickly studied theory, but it was too boring for me to really learn grammar because grammar is very complicated, sophisticated in Georgian, and there are really lacking of interesting sources. But I have my own approach that I previously tried on Italian, and the approach is the following. I take a book like this and I read the text uh, sentence by sentence, and what I understand. That's simple. But what I don't understand, I ask the tutor to explain me. If the problem only with the word, I can translate it using Google Translate. But if I don't understand why the form of the word is exactly what it is, I need an explanation. And with living humans, the problem was often with the difficulty to explain what do I want and how to act with me. In Italian, I remember the first session turned out to a regular lesson. The teacher didn't actually help me to follow my technique, and only another teacher understood what I wanted and helped me explain because Italian was her mother tongue. With Georgian, I haven't tried this with a real teacher, with a human being, and let me try now this approach using ChatGPT. So I took a photo of one page of my book that I bought in Tbilisi, and using Google Lens, I copied the text from it, and let's see what do we have here. Me, the text meaning is call me Ismail. And in Georgian it sounds like me, Ismail's, mecha, Medzahian. Probably sounds like that. Yeah, I definitely need more practice in pronunciation, but today we're focusing on grammar. That's the interesting thing. So, let's ask ChatGPT. What first does the problem word me? It means me, and it is Ismail's. Apparently, that's the name. Let me rearrange everything to see things at once. That's simple, but what does this word mean? We know the meaning in the sentence. All right, let's happens. If I ask in English, I get the answer in English, and it generates English answers much faster than Russian or Georgian that I tried previously. I haven't tried Italian. That's interesting because Italian uses the same alphabet, the same Latin, and how will it work? But okay, let's focus on this. Is a word in Georgian languages? It means I understand or I comprehend. This is interesting. Call me Ismail. So, me, Ismael, with an ending, a conjugated name, Ismael, and I understand or I comprehend. This is interesting because I wanna show, I wanna know what is the normal form, right? What form I can say of that word? Not why. Why was from another question. What is the initial form of? Because often I struggle to translate something because Georgian has very sophisticated morphology. So the word can contain lots of prefixes and suffixes. Maybe, okay, not lots of, but even if there is one, I do not recognize a root that is new to me, and I cannot properly translate the word. The initial form of the Georgian word, Medzayan, it would be great if I found the voice synthesizer for Georgian, but unfortunately, I haven't found one. In Google Translate and in AWS, Georgian is not supported in text to speech. So, and you see it shows separation. Yes, we see me. This is familiar. So this is me. Me and the root it is a pronoun meaning I, yes, as I just referenced, and Zahian is a verb meaning understand or comprehend. Yes, okay, that's great. Why does in this sentence? That means let me skip this because in Georgian it doesn't sound like ish. Here it is written as is. Not sure if it will understand. But let me specify from the grammatical, what do I write? Grammatical view perspective. From the grammatical, why does in the sentence, that means is used, is Will this work? Can it explain me? Aha, so in this context, the word changes its meaning. So we have this root that basically mean to understand, to comprehend, right? However, it could also mean to call or to summon in the subject of the verb. Okay, where will I write this? How? Maybe I should leave this. So the useful note is like this. I can. Oh, all right. Let me think of what I'm doing now. Right now, I'm not showing you how ChatGPT works, but I'm showing you the methodology where ChatGPT could be organically used. So the part of the methodology is to understand what I've just got. And to understand something, it is a very good idea to write the things. All right, let me write it here. I classified it later. Maybe knowledge base was a good place. And so, what's interesting here? This is what I didn't know. I think I'm able to recognize this. Or maybe introduce some sign. In Georgian, we don't have this punctuation, at least inside words. So I'll try to use it to see the natural, or even this, the split of the words, to make them more recognizable. So this is the basic meaning of this. However, we have la 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 la, and in the same verb, the different meaning. So we have two different meanings in the sentence. And it's also worth noting that in Georgian, the word order in a sentence is usually subject, verb, object, so the verb medzahian, medzahian. Definitely need to train pronunciation. The verb appears in the second position of the sentence, followed by the object Ismail. So usually, the usually it may sound as me, subject, verb, object. This contradicts my experience, and that's an interesting thing. So sometimes ChatGPT could be telling lies. So both orders, from what I know, are possible in Georgian, and more often is when the verb follows the two nouns or pronouns that it operates on. So no, this is how we write it in English. I like playing, but not in Georgian. In Georgian that's possible, but that's less usual. Okay, appears second position, followed by the object. Is minus. Let's ask one more interesting thing. Why do we use me twice in... Actually, it is a good thing to think about this on my own. So, me, object, subject, object, and this is probably an imperative, meaning I urge you to call. Let me see. Oh, I've copied it with my special sign. Yeah, that might corrupt something. Is used twice. The first instance is a subject of the yes, that's true. No, it's a subject of the verb. Yes. The second instance of may is used to form the verb yes, which is a request or command. Yes, that's exactly what I meant. So, here I'd like to highlight this. In the end, I'll save this to MD format, so I use this formatting, and this visual formatting is not what I prefer, but I have no idea how to remove the strike through in this editor. Good. So, victory. I understand this sentence and why it is like it is. This doesn't mean I'm able to form something similar. Of course, I can use exactly the same structure and just replace the name with the noun, and probably I'll use the same conjugation. However, if we'll replace the verb, if I'll need to replace the verb, I don't think I can form this, but that's a different exercise. Now I want to comprehend, I want to acquire the natural grammar. So people wrote these sentences, and I want to simply understand them. All right. Now I see something strange. So the next sentence, Ramdenishi, and where it is. Interesting. That means I lost. When did I was that problem? That sentence. Okay, so let's read this. Again, I want to remind you how I do obtain grammar of a new language during self-education. Yes, and what's the place of learning the rules? My professional experience shows that you should learn theory right after the moment when you really needed that theory, right after the moment when you struggle because you missed that theory, or in rare cases exactly where you realize that there should be some theory that you're currently missing. Because if you study theory first and only then see the practical things where that theory is applicable, that really complicates things. First, you don't understand theory, then you feel that you understood theory, but you are completely wrong in understanding. Your understanding is detached from the reality. And then when you see the real task, you cannot understand how to apply this theory. For example, take English articles. Articles are either definite or indefinite. So if you're talking about definite thing, it is that. If you're talking about indefinite thing and it is countable and singular, it is or an. That's basically the same thing. And when you see the actual examples, you immediately start seeing in the natural speech lots of exceptions, because you see something as general concept, but people, native speakers, use that word with the, because they have a habit to see things as particular in that particular context. But you're not trained on that. You don't see the things the same way. So from your logic that is based on your previous experience in your mother tongue, the noun is used in its generic meaning. For example, I recall one example when that led to confusion. The non-native English speaker told her friend that I'm talking with a taxi driver. So in English, this means that she met a generic taxi driver and is talking to him. And if she'd use I'm talking with the taxi driver, that might mean the transaction with the taxi driver who served her, who was the driver on a cab that she took. That's a different meaning. But from the non-English speaker logic, it doesn't mean it is not important is this driver a particular and is it not. She wanted to tell that I'm busy with the thing, but apparently when I'll finish this, I'm running to meet you. And the taxi looked as a generic taxi driver looked as a generic object because it is actually not important. The important part of the sentence that I'm talking now. But no, from the natural English speaking logic, that's a big difference. Not perceptible without decent training. So let's return to obtaining a new language exercise. Okay, still have no idea when did I lost the second sentence, but let's try to read it without using any aid from either a human or ChatGPT. Ramdeni me. I see Ramdeni, that means which, and me again, me. I'm not sure if this is what I mean. However, let's assume. By the way, we have a translation there. Please, apparently years. Tsin. I forgot this word, but it simply maps to the English translation. Ago. Okay, let me simply skip the pronunciation. So we have this word. I'll train my pronunciation separately. Ago. We have a comma and here. This doesn't mean that the comma is placed the same in different languages, because punctuation is often very, very different. So Rom, puli is money, without money. Rom puli without should follow, as I understand. Sire taught. Ertod, similar to ertad. Ertad means together. Sa is a prefix that makes the meaning more generic. I cannot say that I can concatenate this, and here's the thing to ask the ChatGPT why it is like this. Agar, I have no idea what does this word mean, and this is a good idea to ask the translator first, the dictionary. Maconda. 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 Nah, doesn't resonate. Da and in this context, but we don't have to embark on a whale ship. We don't have and in this. Vesha cher homalze. Homalze mec hoba gadavotsk. All right, I have lots of unknown words. I cannot on my own match the words directly to translation, and that's awesome. That means this sentence is a source to know something interesting. So it would be nice to have it already typed. Let me check. Was it? Where did I lost it? Okay, probably it was Google Lens that lost it because how is that possible? Ah, yes, it skipped the whole line. So yes, it starts here. All right. This and I forgot where that letter is located. But I have a keyboard in Android. It is easier to find the letter that you forgot. Easier doesn't mean easy. W is placed on W. This. Good. And hope everything is correct, but so some years ago, probably, let's use more specialized neural network to translate. I discovered it a few years ago. That's interesting. And of course, I wanna translate each and every word. Some. Ramdenime. Does the word have I mean, is it combined or is it plain? Is a compound? Yes, I think that's the best collocation for the new request. Made up of two smaller words. So I was wrong about me. Me is a part of the word. So Mandanime. Ra means what or which, and Mandanime is a noun meaning Ramdani. How much? Here's a word. Combined two words. Okay, and I'm curious, what is the difference between Ramdenime and Ramdeni. That is more common. This is cute, right? It comes with both explanation and examples, and I notice that is very often the case. For example, you might use Ramdenime in a question like Ramdenime some khari got. I mean, how many cities do you have? Some Karo. Some Karo. I don't recognize city. Probably unknown root to me. While you might use Ram in a statement like Chveni Kalakis. This is towns or cities. Chveni. Our Chveni Kalakis. I know that there is a translation, but I want to translate myself or whatever I can. Ramdeni Samkaro. Samkaro. Again. How many cities does our city have? It sounds better in Georgian because we have different words for cities. And let's ask another machine, what does this word mean? The world, universe. How did it decide? No, I think this again, the word with more meanings that. Do you have multiple words? Really? I'm definitely missing the Georgian vocabulary. Will this work on dictionary? Yeah. World, universe. It is. Why do you run the word as city? In Georgian, this word means city. This is interesting. So as you could notice, I'm not interested to actually read the text. I'm interested to ask all the curious to get all the curious questions answered. Solve it. Oh my god, it is not even a place. The vocabulary doesn't know this. Sa Samkaro. Samkaro. I cannot quickly read in English. Okay, this is a bad sign because ChatGPT insists that this word means city, but even Wikipedia, not Wiktionary, but Wikipedia, understands this as the universe, National Geographic. And of course, Google. That's the problem with ChatGPT currently. You cannot trust it completely because it definitely knows the grammar of Georgian and it is able to recognize the prefix sa. But in the same time, I doubt that this prefix exists in this word. Maybe it is a part of the root. And that could be a big problem if you produce something. So when you produce something, ChatGPT is only a helper to you, and you should thoroughly review what does it generate for you. But if you use it like this to answer curious questions, then these mistakes are acceptable. It still creates value. I know no other tool for explanations like this because even with a real human, who is a native speaker of Georgian, who also speaks English or Russian and can explain things, you won't always get the decent explanation. And often I saw that people struggle to define the normal form, the root, because for them it is all intuitive. So ChatGPT is more powerful than even a native speaker in explaining what's actually going on there. But it has positive statements, false statements. In some processes, that's a problem. In learning, you will overcome mistakes like this. For example, here I came with a discovery, with a bit more exploration about this. By the way, what do we have here? Organic world, living nature. This is interesting. Or Ganuli, some yes, and another curious question: is the root without the prefix a word? Probably not. Makari, Makaro. Okay, at least we have some word use for this. Let's see what does it mean. Solid. And in context, it doesn't help at all. And this is the same, right? This is not the complete sentence, but let's still try. If we evaluate strength in terms of solid economic and military assets. Yes, it is a word and it means solid, not a place. By the way, when you find contradictions like this, yes, in this case, you could form the list of questions to a native speaker to either confirm that this is a mistake or extend your understanding of this. And maybe it is in some context or in ancient texts, this word has this meaning. Why not? That's possible, but I don't see traces on other sources of this being true. So let's summarize. I'll continue using this tool for this exact purpose. I'll use it to explain me more and more grammar. After some time, I'll be able to recognize more typical cases and less typical cases. So I'll skip the sentences with less typical cases first and focus only on the very, very typical cases, very, very simple statements, to repeat them again and again with very different words, very different meanings, but chasing for very similar grammar patterns. Because my purpose here is to obtain the most typical grammar patterns first and more exotic patterns later. If I'll obtain this, and I already remember some vocabulary in Georgian, and it would be also easier to remember new words when I see them in context, when I'm able to read the arbitrary texts, at least partially, or at least with vocabulary, translating them word by word, but not translating the whole sentences using the external intelligence. I can use Google Translate only to translate certain words and use my own intelligence to put those meanings in the sentence and to translate the meaning of the whole sentence with my own intelligence in order to train it. That's a method. And this tool is groundbreaking because it explains even better than most of native speakers could even do that for you. It is smart. It is smart in its approach because you see it shows you always, when I can recall this, both explanation and examples. That's a perfect exactly for education purposes. It is smart. And sometimes it is telling lies, just like a real human being. Maybe it's simply joking here. I don't know, but I like it.